G'day guys, Zave back from Next Stop Touring. Today I'm going to be showing you what I drive. Come check it out. So this is Big Bertha, the Patrol. I've had her for about a year now, and the previous owners gave her that name, but it kind of stuck and it describes her pretty well. She is a 3 litre. I know a lot of people don't like that, but she's taken me everywhere I could possibly want to go and hasn't had a single fault. So let's get into it. So first things first, we'll start with the engine. I'll pop this bonnet up for you and we'll go over what's in there. So this Patrol is a February 07 build, which means she's one of the first ZD30 CRDs to ever come out of Japan. The motor itself I've left absolutely stock, apart from a cheapy eBay intercooler to stop the leaking issues that come with the factory ones, and a catch can, pretty standard on most diesel 4-wheel drives these days. That's pretty much all there is to the motor. Now we'll work our way from the front of the car all the way to the back. Up the front here, you can see we've got a massive ARB Bullbar, absolutely legendary, and has saved us from a lot of front panel damage and a lot of scrapes and hits. Luckily, we've never had an animal strike, but driving in Australia, they're inevitable, so it's always good to have a strong hooped bull bar. Now, mounted on the bull bar, there's a couple of accessories. Right down here, we've got an XTM winch. Now this is a 12,000 pound winch that cost 500 bucks, and we bought it up in Cairns right before we were going to do the telly track. That was pretty lucky because we needed it on the telly track. Other than that though, it's only been used for pulling out other people and doesn't see too much action. Up here we've got 2 King spotlights. They're the 7-inch. I originally had the 9, but they just didn't clear this top hoop, so I went down to 7, and I couldn't be happier with these. They are so bright, they light up all the signs at night. Makes it look like daytime, it's brilliant. Then up here, we've got a GME UHF aerial. I don't know the specific hertz or bandwidth because it came with the car, but I can't fault that either. Having a UHF is just super handy for the truckies, caravanners, overtaking, roadworks, that sort of thing. Next up, we've got a Safari Snorkel. Very common, good quality brand. Again, this came with the car. It's been pretty good, but I will admit, we did have a bit of an issue where over some corrugations, the airbox mounts broke and the whole airbox actually fell away from the front quarter panel. It meant that water, dust, anything could get straight in there. It did still have to go through the air filter, but it wasn't ideal. We managed to fix that by just drilling a hole straight through the edge of the airbox and connecting them up really tight. I don't know whether they're meant to come with glue or a gasket or something, but yeah, that worked for us. Moving down from the Snorkel, we've got our tyres. So these are Nitto Terra grapplers in 285/75 R16. So they're basically a 33-inch tyre. These have been amazing. We've never popped one, even though I've had to replace 2 because I've put sticks and rocks and scrapes and screws through the sidewalls, but they've always still held air. I just haven't felt comfortable driving on them after they've had that kind of damage, but I can't fault them. We've put them through hell. They've been brilliant, and also they're pretty good bang for your buck. Now we got 2 of these on the front, and on the back we got 2 different tyres. So last time I went to the tyre shop, I asked for 2 more Nitto Terra grapplers. The guy said he didn't have any in stock, but these were made by the same company and are basically the same tyre. They're a little bit more expensive, but I reckon they look a whole lot more aggressive and they perform fantastically. So these are Toyo Opex in the all-terrain, same size of course, 33-inch, and they are just beautiful. I mean, they look sick. They give you traction everywhere. I can't fault them at all. Most likely, when the front tyres need replacing, I'm going to chuck more of these on because I just love them. Fantastic. Then as for the rims, all around we've just got 16-inch steel rims. I don't remember the offset, but negative 20 something I think. Also on the side, got ARB rock sliders and side steps. Absolutely handy for protecting your panels up there I'd put them on every car I own. Up here, standard XTM awning, nothing to worry about that. I'm sure you've seen them before. So moving up here to the window, you can see we've got our homemade Solarscreen. We just went to Clark Rubber, bought a big roll of reflective stuff and some suction cups, cut out templates and made them up ourselves in about 2 hours. Cost us less than 50 bucks, which I thought was pretty good when the real stuff is like 500 for a whole set. So yeah, DIY Solarscreen. Alright, round the back we've got some more bar work. Holding our 2 tyres here is a steel MCC dual tyre carrier. I might do a review video on just the tyre carrier, but it is absolutely shocking. Complete crap. It is one of the cheaper bars. I think it cost us 2 grand when all the other ones, Kmart and Razzler and stuff, are 4 or 5. But don't cheap out, get the good stuff. There are so many issues with this. When I first got it, it didn't fit at all. We had to bash it on, and within a month of using it, the powder coating started coming off and it started rusting. If you drive over a couple of corrugations, the tyres start to wobble and shake. I mean, look at the amount of movement in that, and that's on tight. Here as well. I'm not that big of a fan. Regardless, it has held 2 tyres on the back of this car around Australia, up north, down south, everywhere we want to go. It's also protected us from a lot of nasty hits when we've gone up and down sharp inclines and that sort of thing. And it does provide high lift jacking points, which have been super helpful for working on the car and getting out of issues. So we've got one more Nitto Terra grappler on the back, and then a very old Cooper Discovery. That's an absolute emergency spare that I had to run a couple months back and literally watch like chunks of rubber come off. It's a complete emergency spare and I won't use it unless I absolutely have to. You may note also down here, a little bit filthy, but there you go, is an ARB reversing camera. That's connected to the rear view mirror with a little screen and a microphone. Super handy, especially since this was one of my first big cars that I've driven. Having a reversing camera there was awesome. Still is awesome. Alright, we'll open this up. So on a typical camping trip, this is what the back of our car looks like. Pretty much chaos. We've got our fridge on the left, which is an absolutely trusty Engel. That was Jess's parents, so it goes back 30 odd years. Beneath it all we've got standard drawers. They're not Kings, they came with the car, so I don't know who made them, but they are pretty close to the King's design. On the left, keep all my tools and fishing gear in there, pretty nice and organized so you can access everything quickly. And on the right we've got all our cooking and food stuff, which is not as organized because it's obviously coming in and out every day, all the time. Going up from there, we've got our Grand Tourer Mark II rooftop tent. I couldn't be happier with this tent. It's been fantastic. It's so quick to set up and so easy to pack down. The view is awesome when you're up there. There's plenty of room. You can even stand up in it. Super comfy. It has had a couple of issues, but I knew that when I bought it, as they're very common. The roof did start to sag immediately, and just out of the front, a few little bolts, it does leak a bit of water, but nothing a little bit of black Sikaflex won't solve. So yeah, she's beautiful. As you can see up there, we've got a solar panel. It's a 160 watt hard panel that I just whipped up some brackets for and stuck it on the roof. Works amazingly to keep the fridge running, especially when your batteries are low on power or out of power, as we experienced on this trip to Exmouth. The extra weight it adds you don't really notice because the gas struts hold it really well. And other than that, it's absolutely sweet. One downside I will add to the tent is it does probably add 2 to 3 litres onto your fuel efficiency. So it's not amazing, but to basically be a turtle and carry your house on your back is worth it to me. So now to suspension. The Patrol rides on a 2-inch OME lift all round. It's not amazing. The ride's reasonably comfortable, but both our rear shocks are blown out, and now on this trip both of our front shocks are blown out. The springs are sagged massively. As you can see though, it's in pretty rough shape. I'm looking for a new lift kit. If you got any recommendations, feel free to DM or leave a comment. Alright, so inside she is the DX spec, which is the lowest spec, so absolutely back to basics. We've got plain cloth seats, vinyl floors and vinyl interior everywhere, and good old school wind up and down windows. Now, while it may be the lower trim, I really like the vinyl floors and I really like the wind up windows. Vinyl means that you get muddy, you get wet, you get sandy, and it all just brushes or wipes straight out. There's no need to vacuum or clean carpets or anything. And the wind up windows mean that when the car's off and you're sleeping in the back just like we used to, or the car's off and you need to crack a window, you can just turn it and open it, easy as. No need for keys, no need for battery power. Keep it simple. I think that's everything you need out of a four-wheel drive. So this is Big Bertha the Patrol, and that was my quick overview of her and everything we've done to her. If you have any more questions or suggestions for her, please leave a comment down below. I'm always eager to read your feedback. Other than that, here's to more adventures in four-wheel drives.